I believe Laura was one of the founding board members of C.A.M.P and a very important person in the evolution of C.A.M.P at the time. She was also the secretary of the board, kept all the minutes, and I remember a couple years after that Laura walked into the boardroom one month when we had our meeting and announced to the board members that she had Alzheimer's. And we were all devastated. She was still a young woman, in her early 50s, and she said it was to the point where her doctor had advised her to go ahead and resign and take care of herself. And it was devastating to all of us because she was such an important and engaging and friendly person, so kind-hearted, and one of the founding board members.
Once Laura became ill with Alzheimer's, she went down very, very fast, and George would call me and said, "You need to come by a little more often to see Laura because it peps her up to see you." One afternoon, George needed to go to the hardware store to get some stuff. He was making some improvements on their house, and he called and said, "Can you come by and sit with Laura for a little while because I don't want to take her out right now." So I went by, and we went out and sat on the bench in the front yard, and we just sat there, and she couldn't talk, but we sat there and I held her hand, and we watched the squirrels play in a tree right there in their front yard, jumping up and down, jumping up and down. And I looked over at Laura, and she had tears running down her cheeks. And I think at that time, she knew that she was not long for this world, and it broke my heart.
And about 6 weeks ago, her husband George came into my office, and he sat in the chair across from my desk, and we hadn't seen each other in a while, and our common friend Dee Dee Hoffman had been keeping me updated on Laura's condition and everything George was doing with her. And George told me at that meeting in my office that she had entered hospice and she was in the last stages of her life. And we both got teary-eyed. It was a rough meeting. And then he said something really phenomenal to me that I'll never forget. He said that despite all the hardships they'd been through and the end of the life that Laura was at, that she had requested that they had a cash reserve and that be donated to C.A.M.P. I was touched. I didn't even know what to say, and I told George, I said, "I'm speechless." And George said, "Well, that's what she wanted," and I gently tried to talk him out of it because I knew they had mounting medical bills, but he wasn't having any of it. And he was steadfast that this is what Laura wanted, and so I was very grateful. We accepted, and that speaks volumes about the character of Laura and George, the kind of people they are, and the kind of people that are on the C.A.M.P University board.